and let's talk about one thing really quickly before we get into meme review and take a couple of questions, because this was something I really wanted to talk about today. I know this farmers thing has taken up most of our talking time, as it probably should have, but I did want to talk about this because again, the the in the I saw something in the New York Times recently that kind of got my goat a little bit, so to say, because I remember how we've seen over the past few weeks, ever since Biden's become president, that the amount of ass kissing from the legacy media, from the mainstream media, it's almost sort of infuriating, because all the talking points are about how things are normal now, how everything's going to be normal. Things are so normal. He's going to normal now. Nobody is ever normal before. He's going to normal all over our faces. And it's funny because apparently, messing up the Middle East again is considered normal, but whatever. That's whatever it is. But what has been very interesting is, Abhijit, you remember how when Amy Coney Barrett was, her information stuff was going on, and she's a Catholic, and how people were saying that because she's a Catholic, her faith is going to interfere with her decision making. Her faith is going to be a huge problem. It's going to be, it's going to create all these kinds of issues. And look at this. Look at this at the same time. This is from the New York Times. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I share it properly. So the New York Times has an article saying, in Biden's Catholic faith and ascendant liberal Christianity, President Biden, perhaps the most religiously observant commander-in-chief in half a century, speaks of how his Catholic faith grounds his life and his policies. So for Biden, his Catholic faith is actually, it's a nice thing. Biden's Catholic faith will be on full display as the first publicly church-going president in decades. So religiosity, when it comes to somebody you happen to like, is actually a nice thing. And even being a Catholic, the same thing that Amy Coney Barrett was, is a nice thing. And I remember at the same time, this article that New York Times came out with as well. This was not a very long time ago. I think this was in 2017, which was essentially, this is it. Firebrand Hindu cleric ascends India's political ladder, and went on to talk about how his mutt is this and that, and how religiosity in Indian politics is such a terrible thing. And it really gets my goat, and it really sort of it kind of highlights why people are so completely sick and tired of legacy media, and how they're really going to struggle post-Trump, because Trump, whether they like it or not, as much as they hated Trump, was keeping these legacy media alive. Now what they're going to do, I'm not entirely sure.
Modi ko gali denge.
They're basically going to get so boring that they're not going to get any hits. They're going to start collapsing in large numbers. So they will have to keep inventing new wars, new countries to regime change, and God knows what else. Create new strawman enemies to go after. And they will probably succeed to a certain extent in doing that, because remember, this is a government that owes them big. It would have never won the election had it not been for these guys. And so they will probably throw a lot of public money at these scum. Okay, this is number one. Number two, I don't know why this surprises us. Because if you remember, there are two socialist prime ministers that I want to draw your attention to. Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, and what's his name? Stefan Löfven in Sweden. Jacinda Ardern espoused a full-blown lockdown. And Stefan Löfven said, we're going to go in for mass herd immunization. We're going to shut down nothing. Okay, the left praised both Sweden's pioneering approach and Jacinda Ardern's visionary approach. Now, when Modi orders a complete lockdown, like Jacinda Ardern, he's a fascist. When Trump does not order, wants everything to function like Stefan Löfven, he's a moron who doesn't know how to deal with the situation. Okay, so I I don't know why anybody considers these people as having any kind of credibility. I have never, look, for me, the New York Times is one great big brothel. Okay. And everybody working inside the brothel is either a pimp or a whore.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember,
unless you're the cleaning staff.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, people pretend as if as soon as the coronavirus crisis happened across the world, every single government should have known exactly what to do, despite people having no idea what the hell this disease can do. And that's what they said with Trump, that Trump immediately did not have the answers to what to do about this disease, Kushal. But at the same time, you had people like Andrew Cuomo, who probably lost the most number of people in a single state. Like, I think it was New York that lost at least in the first wave, New York lost the most number of people. But despite that, you had this fellow who wrote a book about how well he handled the coronavirus crisis, and then did a bloody book tour talking about meri kitab kharido, is pe sare lessons mil jayenge tumko. And all the news media was covering his book tour.
अरे वो इतना तो दंगा ना प्रेसिडेंट हो गया है ना. अभी तू तेरे शहर में रेस्टोरेंट में इंडोर डाइनिंग सडनली कैसे अलाउ हो गई?
कैलिफोर्निया इज ओपन नाउ.
हाँ, कैलिफोर्निया में इंडोर डाइनिंग कैसे अलाउ हो गई अभी सडनली? मतलब पॉइंट क्या था?
And Gavin used to open up, which is why that fellow Chamath, whatever, the Sri Lankan guy at Virgin Galactic, is challenging him now.
Yeah.
So suddenly, in the space of 1 month, it has now become imperative to open up everything.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? But this is what the left does. Like, and I'm sorry, Kushal, but I'm going to steal your lines. They either dazzle us with brilliance or they confound us with bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that it has always been like that. Look, I have said this before. I will say this again. There is only one way to deal with New York Times, Washington Post, and whatever those Tweedledee and Tweedledum are. It is with heartfelt disdain. And you should basically tell them in the great Sushant Sarin's language, THKBC. That's all we should do. We should tell them we don't care what their opinions are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we still have that. हाय हमको तो यार न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स ने हमारे बारे में लिखा, क्या फर्क पड़ता है उसने लिखा नहीं लिखा, मेरे को कुछ. I don't read them, I don't subscribe to them, I don't care about them. I much rather give money to good Indian content creators, good people who are working hard. I much rather read what a Swati Goel Sharma has to write, what a Abhinav Prakash has to write, what a Abhijit Iyer Mitra has to write. I'm not going to read New York Times. So my only solution to this problem is I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what they have to do.
My only solution to the problem is कि legacy media नहीं पसंद है तो दूसरे media को support करो. Start building your own media.
Yes.
Create your own movie houses. Now look, Daily Wire. Like Daily Wire said, Bollywood बड़ा खराब है, Hollywood बड़ा खराब है, Hollywood बड़ा खराब है. But Daily Wire didn't just keep complaining. Daily Wire made their own bloody movie.
Yes.
They've just financed and produced their own bloody movie. Like, do that. That's what you are going to need to do now. Yeah. So look, I think Abhijit has to run. So we're gonna let Abhijit go and enjoy his beautiful toilet, and we will.
Toilet. It's a study room.
Toilet. You have been exposed, Mr. Mitra.
You have been exposed, Mr. Mitra. Please get up and show us whether you're not on the toilet.
Where's your pot?
Yeah.
It's a study room.
Oh, it's a study room. Oh, I see. It's a study room. Okay. Apologies for spreading fake news.
Yes, you should.
Yeah.
And I certainly hope you also get sacked like our friend. But yes, thank you, Vel Vetrivel to all, and I hope to see you soon.
Jai Shri Ram. Okay. So, sorry. Yeah. So that's going to be the solution, guys. Moving forward, the solution is going to be, अगर कुछ नहीं पसंद है, तो अपना खुद का create करो. Create your own media. Make sure that the media you're supporting, make Swaraj the sort of New York Times equivalent of India. You know, they've been creating these Patreon campaigns for a while now. Go support those Patreon campaigns. They have a goal that they're looking to meet. It's not an astronomical goal. They're not looking to meet like $10 million or anything like that. It's not an astronomical goal. Go support them so it can become a self-sustaining identity. It can afford to hire Kushal to write. It can afford to hire Abhijit to write, an article every single week. It can afford to hire people to write articles every single week. And then you create an alternative atmosphere where जब भी New York Times कुछ उल्टी करता है, then people immediately go to Swarajya ki अच्छा नहीं, what does Swarajya have to say about this? Do that. That is what we're going to need to do at the end of the day.
Another analogy to our people. Whenever you go to watch a movie, you pay money for a ticket, right? You get the whole experience. You're going there, you're buying popcorn, you're doing the whole rigmarole or whatever. तुम लोगों को यार podcast free चाहिए.
Yeah.
वो free में दे रहे हैं, मगर कुछ तो दो आगे, नहीं तो आज see how does a person sustain this? ये तो ऐसा हो गया कि आप फ्री में करते रहो. So the quality doesn't come. You need to buy good microphones. You need to buy streaming gear. You need to buy multiple things. You can hire editors. Think if you support people, how much more they can do if they put full time to it. So
this is the Daily Wire movie, guys. By the way, this is the movie Daily Wire produced. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know about this. It's apparently an action thriller or something like that.
Yeah, it's about a school shooting.
Yeah.
So
this is good, right? Look how they have grown. Now they are hiring more than 100 people now at the Daily Wire.
They have enough money to make their own bloody movies.
Yeah. And look, I get it that all of you can't pay, but the point is, I mean, you have to find a way to monetize. और कुछ नहीं करो, कम से कम वीडियो की एड तो देख लो, वो भी skip कर देते हो.
Yeah, we all need to do our part. Like I'm subscribed to Swarajya. I love Swarajya. I like the work that they're doing. I appreciate what they do. I've especially subscribed to Swarajya because of Swati Goel Sharma and the work that she does. So I want to give her a personal shout out. So support her. She has a couple of things going on Twitter as well. I think she's created a couple of accounts, one about Bollywood and one called like Seva Nyay Uthan, which helps families that have been hurt in like riots and love jihad targeting and things like that the government necessarily isn't looking at. So go support these people, go support their initiatives, go support organizations, and help us create robust media and news organizations.